How to build a custom, built-in bookcase that is perfect for your space. We're going to develop this bookshelf project from concept, through design, CAD drawings, material selection, layout, and finally installation. Along the way, we will look at some of the special considerations for designing a custom built-in bookshelf that will make it look as if it was always an integral part of your space. As an extra bonus, we'll point you to the materials cut list generator that was used for this project. The cut list generator will show you how to optimize sheet material layouts to produce the bookshelf components with minimal loss and cost. In this video, we will start with the built-in bookcase design. Here's the backstory. We have been renovating a 130-year-old San Francisco Edwardian house. Over the last 10 years, we have built bathrooms, torn down chimneys and walls, leveled subfloors, installed hardwood flooring, constructed a kitchen from scratch, and performed all the framing, drywall, plumbing, and electrical tasks along the way. We are finally getting down to the last detailed finishes, including a permanent home for our books. These are the bookshelves we've been using in the living room. They are perfectly serviceable IKEA bookshelves, but they are not pretty or efficient. The existing design elements in the living room include traditional double-hung windows that complement the 14-foot ceilings. Doorways include top lights and glass panels. Trim elements include wide skirting boards and chair rails. Painted finishes keep the space looking light and maximize the feeling of airy space in what is really a pretty small living area. So stained hardwood furniture finishes don't fit here. But brass and bronze hardware for the doors and windows abound. The bookshelves will be 8 feet high by about 3 feet wide. Pretty sizable structures. So using materials that will be dimensionally stable and avoid warping or twisting is important. For large panels, plywood is ideal, but requires a lot of work to produce a really attractive painted finish. Paying for hardwood lumber or even hardwood veneered plywood is an unnecessary expense under paint. Medium density fiberboard, or MDF, works well for paint finishes, but it is very heavy and doesn't work well for shelving unless you use a lot of extra construction elements. Take a look at the video on designing bookshelves that won't sag for more information on the types of material for bookshelves. The final conclusion was to use a product that my supplier called XDF, but comes under many names. It is furniture-grade plywood with an MDF veneer. It is more expensive than plain plywood or MDF, but cheaper than hardwood veneered plywood, and is an ideal surface for spray painting once it has been sealed. More on that in the construction videos to follow. Built-in furniture of any type, whether it is kitchen or bathroom cabinets or bookshelves, requires extra thought and planning. Additional considerations over standalone bookcases includes how perpendicular are your walls? Do they lean in at the top or bottom? Are the walls and existing trim parallel, or are they bowed at some point? Is the trim the same height on opposite sides of the room? How will you integrate the new built-in furniture with the existing trim? Can you buy or create trim profiles that match what is already in the room? In this project, to allow for variations in the walls, I took a construction approach that applied the case trim last, so the trim could be matched to imperfections in the walls. As you will see, this created some complications, but the final finish was well worth the effort. The space around the doorway, the walls and trim were mocked up in a computer-aided design package named Fusion 360. Then the bookshelf cabinets, including matching trim, were modelled as individual components, and a final assembly was constructed. This method seems a little tedious at first, but you are essentially constructing the bookcase components in the same way that you will manufacture them in your woodshop. The huge advantage is that potential problems become obvious well before you start cutting. The assembly was provided as an exploded view, and 2D prints with all measurements were used as the reference during the construction process. Fusion 360 has a full-featured version that is free for hobbyists. A link to Fusion 360 is provided in the video description. Optimizing the layout for cutting parts from sheet material gets complex pretty quickly. Layout programs can make this process much easier and allows you to visualize how the material will be divided up. There are apps you can purchase, but Cut List Optimizer is available free on the internet and worked well for this project. Several jigs and tools were also designed in Fusion 360 and then 3D printed to assist with hinge location and cutting rebates. More information on those jigs is available in the following videos that describe the bookshelf construction. For anyone interested, the paint is from Benjamin Moore and is called Dune White. We have found it to be incredibly versatile. It pretty much works in every room, irrespective of the wall colour, and the final finish is amazingly smooth. So, this is what the finished bookcases will look like. But before we get there, we have a lot of construction, finishing, and installation to do. This is going to be fun. I'm hoping you'll hit the like button on this video and subscribe to join me on the bookshelf construction videos. To get started, take a look at the video How to Build a Bookshelf That Won't Sag.